Sequencing emotion in a delicate formation. Numerology's wisdom is a language of vibration. Welcome to the Numerology Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a numerologist, psychic medium, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's working with spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, precision and heart always enters the equation. Now, here is your host of the Numerology Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Numerology Hour. I'm Kelly Brickle, and we are playing around with times. We are playing around with days and times where we're going to slot the Numerology Hour, and that's just the way that it goes sometimes, and I'm blessed that I have autonomy to actually play around with sticking the show somewhere. So everything will be up as normal up on podcasts. It's just for the live show, we're having fun with learning, discovering, and refining. And it's really indicative of what's happening with the energy. So we're in a world 7 right now. Next year, we're going into a world 8. And throughout the months and days, we always have patterns and cycles. And November, December has been a 9 and a 1. January and February next year is going to be a 9 and a 1 too as well. So we have this 9-1-9-1 pattern. And this pattern, as it's showing up, is showing us that the collective is going through this filtering process. Hello, Jessica. Welcome. Thanks for being a part of the show. I always appreciate seeing you. We have this filtration process of understanding that we have changed and we have implemented those changes. And now it's like, oh, we have to go back to the drawing board just when we thought we could take off. So it's kind of 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. That's what it feels like, the 9-1-9-1. And these numbers are highlighting us to pay attention, because 9 is all about you have what you need, just go forward. And 1 is, okay, I'm a little bit unsteady, but I want to get this handled and I am going to go forward. So you have like the skillful maturation of understanding, but the wobbliness of integration. So you're going to have a lot of, this was good for me, I'm glad I'm here, but something needs to be tweaked. Something needs to be tweaked. So that's indicative of the Numerology Hour's time, really. Like, I'm glad we're here, but we are tweaking things. We're tweaking schedule, we're tweaking energy, and that is what's happening collectively within the world with that 9-1-9-1 energy that we are experiencing for November, December, January, and February. So the foundations feel a little bit wobbly as we're feeling a little bit confident at the same time. It's odd to have confidence while you're wobbly, maybe, but that's what's going on with that 9-1-9-1 energy. So the 7, which we're all in, it's a world 7, that allows us to have quiet introspection. It invites us to not just jump in right early and to have this extra spiritual awareness. Next year, it's a very physical number, 2024, very physical number. So you're going to see a lot of results in the world, politically, globally. It's like you can't hide the truth. So there's going to be more disclosures. There's going to be more, I guess, finalities, hopefully within the conflict in different countries. That number would breed that, especially in September of next year. That would very much amplify that. But you could also have some really, really strong unrest, because with 8, you either get conflict resolution of peace, or you can have very strong then an embarkment of almost discord energy, war energy. So we don't want those things for the world. We don't. But the 8 makes it black or white. What are we going to do about this? This is the final decision. So there's going to be a very, very busy energy and a lot of change in the air for 2024. So just hang on, everybody, hang on, everybody. And since we're all collective, but we're all individual, inspiring the collective, the eight vibration is to encourage you to be in your own truth. Because it's about truth and consequence. Okay. It inspires you to be in your own certainty of what you want, what you are allowing, and what you're contributing your energies to. Whether it's a personal level within your house, within your friends and family, or whether it's a community or job or something just a little bit bigger than yourself that you are saying or doing in I'm participating in A, B, and C, or I'm still allowing this to happen, even though I'm uncomfortable. So it's about being honest with yourself and making changes to heal yourself and those around you. Healing is a very big concept within eight. Not everybody gets that enacted within the eight because they are aware of the discomfort, they are aware of where they need to change, but they necessarily don't go the full integration from their head to their toes. When you have spontaneous healing in the eight, or if you have like health issues that even themselves out, that is a big sign that you are doing very, very well in your eight energy, because eight is the number of abundance. You can have very high repair, or then, like I said, the crumbling. Unfortunately, a high degree of crumbling. So everybody, really be good to your body, really be honest within yourself. And eight is about physical and space. So tidy up that house too. Tidy up your spaces along the way, and that will help amplify the change that you are coming into. Oh, hello, Keith. You said next year I will be in a personal year of eight. So you are sharing that with the world. So you are in an eight, and the world is in an eight. So that must mean you have an attitude nine. Very cool. And when people are in a personal year of eight, they will be dealing with some of these concepts I already talked about. But it very much goes into how you are attending to yourself and what is considered your responsibility. So there's things that, happen within life and we go, wow, that's really weird. But eight is about accountability and responsibility. So it's accountability and responsibility for the energy you are attracting, because there's a reason the energy is finding you and mirroring you. There's a reason why these people are either doing the things they are to you, or you're having the outcomes. You got to find the common denominator and be very just, it is what it is. And now I change the thing to reduce this part of what it is. So treat the issues like a calculation, and minus and plus where you need to in the energy, whether you want more of or less of. Okay. Eight is very much always about the body. And I talk about that a lot. So you find yourself running away from feelings or thoughts or stresses, the body will find a way to make sure you pay attention. And so a lot of people in personal year eights have sometimes what is an accident or an inconsistency in the body if they are not tending directly to what they need to, because the body goes, we're going to make you lay on the couch for a couple weeks or a month. So you can't do anything but some of these things we need you to look at. So be really, really generous with yourself. Be very immediate with how you get your checkups. Go to the doctor. This is the year to find the things, because whether or not your body is in good working order or not, you can heal things effectively if you are on top of things this year. It's health or health crisis this year. Okay, it is money or money crisis this year. It's opportunity Or why am I not getting the results that I want this year? Okay, so you will get an answer for everything. And on that spectrum of the yes and no, of yes, it's working great, or no, it's not working so great, there is answers on every single decision, there's answers on every single outcome. And the 8 makes it easy to find if you're willing to do the work. The 8 will give you the ahas because 8 is the number of truth. So just be prepared, like, wow, I'm looking at this problem and it is 10 years old. And I'm aware it's 10 years old that I've been doing this behavior that just does not serve me anymore. And let's just be really honest with myself of what it's going to take to become that new version of me. I'm still me, but that new updated version of me. It's about like updating the software, updating the software, updating the hardware. But you'll know where you need to go for certain things so you can be your most up to date self. Okay. So, keep saying, let's see, been trying to bring more comments up on screen. So true. I'm seeing so much improvement in spiritual and money life. Excellent. Yes, this is, if you've already been doing the work, this is an excellent year upcoming for yourself to have luck and to have good success, good networking success with finding the right people. Okay. So they dropped that in for me. Not everyone has networking success in a personal 8, but there's networking success. There's additional helpers coming in with you finding the right people who are going to give you the right opportunities to make additional money. So it's not always up to you in all categories, but to take the responsibility to foster and have good energy to attract those people to you. Absolutely. So that 8 is interesting. It always is. Okay. So if anyone has any numerology questions, this is the place to do it. I'm going to be talking about concepts in a little bit. I'm going to be doing some numerology readings. So if you want, plop down your numbers and you can ask your questions. So sometimes we do numerology questions with people learning about what it is. But in a little bit, we're going to be doing numerology readings and you can actually ask life questions. And I look at your chart, your cycles of what's going on this year and next year, and what's going on with your months too sometimes to let me know what themes are coming up and where you're going to be within the energy. And numerology is incredibly specific and incredibly archetypal with how it lends itself to make sure we are learning multiple things from day to day, month to month, year to year. So it's quite fantastic like that. Okay, so for everybody coming in, pop down your numbers. That lets me know that you are open to having a reading, and we are doing numerology readings. So even though a part of me wants to pull cards, I don't like to be limited always, but yeah, it's the numerology hour. So funny like that. So something I also want to talk about within the upcoming year is we're all starting, like I said, we have that 9191 configuration. We're starting the year in January. So January is going to go really fast for everybody because we have 9 energy. We have fire energy with the 8. And so that means that things are going to go and be like rectified in a way where they're ready to go fresh in February. So you're going to see things within the news in February. It might be considered a busy time in January, but you're not going to get that news. You're not going to get that news. And everyone is going to be very family focused in January. They're going to be making sure that they take care of themselves as things go lightning quick the first month of the year, but also looking into family, looking into the past. That's a universal thing. And then we're going to start hearing some of these global things come up more so in February, and people are going to be moving forward. And we get into March, and that is going to be more of like a little bit of a trying time. So February, March, we get some kind of world news, world event out of the gate, definitely. And that will impact from March. So it comes into February, into March, if you can understand that. Okay. So everybody bear with this 919 configuration. There's a lot of good stuff being filtered for you personally, but also the world is getting ready to change. Right? I know, I love it. Jesse Cat's like, I would love a card reading. I'm like, I know, I can't do it for the numerology hour though. That's Friday. That's Friday. Can you believe we're only a day away from Friday? So again, I'm learning how to stack these in effectively, where I can just be at ease from one show to another. So I appreciate it. All right, let me start with your numbers. So I'm gonna do Jesse Cat and okay, we have 10-9-83. Okay. So, okay, this would be, yes, someone else. Got it. Joe. Thank you. And this would be for Joe. And so attitude 1, personal day 9. And then that is going to be a life path 4. Yep, that's right. Okay. And then you are in a cycle this year of 8. Okay. So, and then the question was, he's stuck on work. He doesn't know what to do or to start something interesting. Okay. Okay. Yes. So I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the energy, and immediately, so he's an attitude 1. And so an attitude 1 knows what they want and knows what they need. They're very much lightning fast with if something works for them or if it doesn't work for them. And the only time that gets contested is when there is high stress. High stress that makes them doubt who they are because they're usually so self-understanding and they're okay with telling people no. They're okay with making people uncomfortable. They're okay with not going along with what seems to be the agenda. So with this stress being apparent, it lets me know how much of a hard decision this is for him. And if he's not happy, this does call for him to really reevaluate if he's taking care of himself so he can be clear minded. Because sometimes we know what to do, but sometimes things are just so much on our plate, we start going in circles. Um, and so we really need to come back to some like self-care. If there's a way where he can you know, take an hour off or 2 when he comes home and he just takes a break from his normal responsibilities and gets back into his grounding, if he gets back into his, "Oh my gosh, I don't feel like I have, a spinning head because I don't know what to do." So he needs time to himself to process some of these things, to come back to himself, because normally an attitude 1 knows what they want. So I'm highlighting what he needs to rectify this because I will talk about what I see, but it's just like with attitude 1, as long as they're okay, they know the way. So self-care is needed. Do some if you can do some stuff for him that's going to help him relax. That's number 1. Hello everybody coming in. Hello Aspen. And so he is also a life path 4. And so a life path 4 is all about like researching, how do I go forward? What's the best, strategy? What is really going to work? And so they can be overthinkers just naturally because of this, but the 1 usually helps satisfy like, I'm going to have joy figuring this out. I'm going to make sure that I come up with the plan. It's okay that it's going to take some time, but the 1 is showing me the overwhelmingness. So, okay, that's the biggest problem. In a cycle of 8, it's really basically if he's not having, again, an easy time, the 8 is basically coming down on him, the cycle of 8 for the year, and saying, You haven't been listening to what you've really wanted for a long time. You have been trying to make yourself fit in a box. You've appeased what your needs were for money. If you can understand this, Jesse Cat, he's appeased what he's wanted to do and what he's needed for money because he feels like this is the most logical choice. And he feels like some of the things that he wants to do are doable. It's just he's not able to actually go and get certain opportunities because he's juggling right now due to the stress. Thank you for understanding that. So, next year, he's going to be in a cycle of 9. So I'm just gonna let you know, with the numbers that have seen, he actually has a way to go get what he wants. This cycle of this year is highlighting that he's not listening to himself and he's suffering because of that. Way more than he has to, but we're all human. I suffer way more than I have to all the time, okay? So I say that very compassionately. Um, so he has to really trust himself and break free. That's the perfect time to do it next year because he's in a cycle of 9. And 9 is all about breaking chains from the past. It's all about saying, I don't need to play by the rules that I once played by. Okay. And there's these like glimmers of understanding that come to us during a 9. So he's right on time. This is just like a difficult one for him. We all have stuff that's more difficult for us. And he's really, for a long time, like made decisions around money foremost. And so he kind of thought in the past, like, this is good, this is good. I don't love it, but this is good. So he's breaking free of that next mold. Okay. So he's still gonna have money. It's just he needs to break through the belief, which will come into effect next year and the following year, especially of there are other options for me out there that I didn't know I had. There are other options for me where I didn't know I could have both. There are people out there looking for things that I want to do and still fulfill the amount of money that I need to make to support my family. He's going to have modes of that. As long as he actually breaks free and allows himself to start looking and saying, hey, why don't I just like look around and interview and see what happens? I'll still keep my other job as a placeholder while I'm actually doing the things that I want to do. So this is very important and this is very good that he starts to move forward because he's not happy. And it's just a matter of allowing somebody to know if they're not happy. Sometimes they've already given themselves the answer. And in this case, it's especially so because this has been breeding for quite some time. Okay. So going forth, next year is a very good time to start the transformation. And he's going to feel a little guilty about family sometimes, but know that he'll be able to support his family the same way or even better if he allows himself to open up and not to just accept the things that are in front of him. Okay. So that is what I see. And hopefully that makes sense for Joe. And all right. So then I like how people are saying like pulling cards are so fun and amazing. They are. They are. Oh, I want to do some like numerology cards someday. Oh, that would be so fun. I have to test that out. I mean, you test it out, but it's like I'd want it a little bit more exact because it's like with numerology using your brain a little bit more definitely than if you're just pulling cards. When you're pulling cards, you're like surrendering to the card, you're feeling into the card. With numerology, you will do that, but then you got to think a little bit. But I just, yeah, I think it's workable. Everyone's making me think about how it's workable. I think maybe I should debut some fun numerology index cards, like from a reading standpoint. You're putting ideas in my brain that I'm gonna have fun with. I really am. Okay. All right. So Keith, 6/21/1983. Okay, that's the attitude 8, and then personal day 3, and then that's the life path of 3 as well. And then you are in a cycle of 7 going into 8. And so that was mentioned prior. And my pen is running out. Okay. And okay, you're thinking of looking for a new job next year. I feel it would be a great year for it. Yes. And so if you're an 8, I'm just doing the math for next year. Yes. Hold on. Oh, the pen is working again. I'm writing things out, so yeah, it was slowing things down as I'm writing things out. April and May. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so what's coming up? There's certain cycles when we're looking for jobs, when we're like looking for new refresh energy. And for you, it really starts to showcase itself like April, May, June. Okay. April, May, June are like very good movement times for you to enact a job. So it's like we need you to be looking around like February, March, sure, sure. But you have very good energy to make sure that the networking's in place, that your brain is percolating, and you're ready to make an actual change. So we have certain different themes in numerology where we can see when the gears are going. Like I'm ready for something new. I'm thinking about this. I want to plan for that. And then there's certain activation numbers. So those come in to you, the activation numbers in April, May, and June. So heads up for that. Heads up for that. May is a very good month for you within that. Yes. So what I also want to say is next year is a cycle of 8 for you. Okay. And 8 is making sure that you're listening to yourself and listening to your needs and making things go forward that need to happen. 8 is the action year. Okay. It's not the thinking year, it's the action year. So that's the number one thing that I want to say to you. And make sure you're in jobs where you can share your voice and you have autonomy where you are being around multiple people. So you have numbers that like you need to be around people and you need to be like bouncing around and free and feeling like that you are moving and a part of people to help change people for the better. Okay. Um, you can't be isolated in a cubicle. You can't have something super technical. You need to have something where you really appreciate the environment for the amount of people interaction that it gives you and the people impact that you can provide them. Okay, so I say that because you are an attitude 9 and you are a life path 3. And so within your job, you've always been helping people indirectly, directly, and you prefer to do so in ways where you can socialize with coworkers to help lift them up. Okay, so that's great, but now it needs to be integrated into a higher area of expertise. Like, I have this knowledge, so I expect this type of role. And I know that I'm at that place within my life. So there's a newfound confidence within the way that you are going to rectify looking for a job. And I really implore you not to take an almost in this category. This has to be I really want to do this or exceeds expectations. You've already like settled and you've already like made compromise in the way that you've done things in the past. And it is not time for that this year. It is not. You are in a cycle of 8 and energetically I feel like it is not time for that, as well as you are a life path 3. And that is all about gaining more responsibility where you can affect people in larger ways and to be seen and to be in a capacity where you are a leader or you're a communicator at your job. But you step into a role of being a leader of communication or you're a leader who communicates effectively and frequently with your team. Okay. So those themes have to be in place with any job that you take. Yeah, I'm going to give that to you. So it's a great time to change if you have confidence within yourself, even if you have the faith, even if you're like, I'm just going to trust that this is the right thing for me, even though I'm still fully understanding what that feels like and what that looks like. As long as you have confidence and faith in that there's something better for you out there than what you can rectify by yourself, the faith will drive you to where you need to go, okay? Because this is about pushing past beliefs. This is about pushing past what you've done before. And so definitely faith is involved. And the 8 is all about what have you learned? Let's not repeat the past, okay? And what happens is if we don't get what we want, that means we haven't done something that needed to be changed or we weren't honest with ourselves. So this is the year of radical honesty and having faith of your needs and you know what you really want and dare to dream a little bit and see what happens. And so that's what I'm getting. Okay. Yep. And the movement I'm starting to feel yes. So 8 will make you feel movement and also stagnation. So if you ever feel stagnation, don't think that reality has set in. It just means that there's a little bit of spiritual work, and emotional work, mental work to do to make sure that you're back in that confidence and that faith based place of everything needs to go forward. I'm right on track. It's just I'm human, so I'm getting sometimes a little bit of otherwise. Okay. Yep. So letting go of fears. So continue to walk forward. And I would like for you this year, the like most contracted or stiff you feel in your body is when you're right before you're letting go of the fear. It's almost like I shouldn't be doing this, but you walk forward anyway. And then you're just like, oh, rather than I'm stiff and I'm feeling the fear because is this right? Is this wrong? Now I'm overthinking this, but I'm protecting myself. Okay. So embrace the fear, embrace the stiffness of the fear, and know that it uh dissipates. Okay. Just walk forward. Absolutely, Keith. Absolutely. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to say is you getting that job is all about trusting yourself and the confidence, I'm telling you. So big themes this year. Big themes this year. Okay. So Aspen's talking about I'm 555 for my numbers. I remember that. That's fun. And the connection I have with his birthday. Oh, you must have said something up top is one you gave me someone else's birthday. Um Aspen. Okay. Yep, and I'm happy to do it, Aspen. Just making sure. Okay. I'm just making sure of all the information. And the connection I had his birthday. Oh, I know what you're saying now, Aspen. Okay, you're referencing something from before. Got it. Got it. I understand. I was just scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss something earlier, but this is from previous. Okay. So give me your birth date too, Aspen, if you can, because I know you're 555, but and I'll just do that because honestly, that's a lot of information, just that. But um, having your cycles and just seeing if you guys are in sync with your cycles, that kind of helps sometimes too. Um, all right. And then the other person you're looking at, so you're looking at a chart comparison. And then the person is an attitude 7, personal day 6, and then they are a life path 6-2 as well, I believe. Let me just double check that. That is an 8. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. And then they would be in a cycle of 6. Oh, a lot of 6 themes. Interesting. Oh, they would be going into a cycle of 6. Forgive me. They are in a cycle of 5 right now. They're in a cycle of 5. So, okay. So right away, when someone's in a cycle of 5, they will be in kind of like a flighty space because there's a lot of change going on whether it's internally or externally. There's a lot of things that they're visiting, and they're just like, I'd rather have something different. How am I going to go about that? How am I going to go about that? And is it easy for me? If it's easy for them, they will have actually a year of a lot of change. And they're looking for somebody who can match them at their new level. If it is difficult for them, they will kind of be rectifying things from the past and they will be a mixture of uncomfortable, but wanting something on a new level. So, five is all about, can I get something new? I'm ready for something different. Okay. So, it's like it's a year of instability unless they're very, very confident in five energy. So he has sevens and sixes like present in his chart. And I'm gonna say off the get go. So you have an attitude five and he has an attitude seven. So that showcases that once you guys have started talking, if you can understand this, when you started talking, and this could be like nonverbal communication too as well, but once you started talking additionally, there was this very strong natural rapport. Okay. It's a natural rapport of how you guys communicate. It's a natural way of, you're like, I understand what you're saying, or I can just read how you are preferring things because I think from a similar way. Not the same way, but I think from a similar way. So that's always nice to see. Now, if you can understand this too, like you're a personal day five and he's a personal day six. So there wasn't that immediate, other than when someone's really pretty, that overrides things sometimes. But when someone has different numbers, so like the five and the six, there wasn't that immediate, like, oh, like, I'm vibing with this person. It took a moment for that to fall into place. It took, like, you would have to, again, vibe a person a little bit to be like, "Oh, there's something here. Isn't that interesting?" But it didn't hit you across the face initially, okay? If you can understand that. Um, I'm not saying it didn't happen soon after. I'm just saying additionally, if you can understand that. Um And then you guys have different life paths. So fives and sixes, they operate from very different energy. Okay. So a five needs to be free. A five needs to um, go with their gut instinct. A five needs to have freedom to figure out the world. And a six wants to really latch on to the people around them and stabilize them and say, how can I help you? How can I be there for you? Or let me like really survey if this is a good fit for me to put my energy into, because sixes are very invested. So it's either a yes or a no, and they guard themselves or protect the ones that they love. Okay. So it's really much about how they open the gate to allow the situation to continue, because fives are very much, let's see how this goes. Like, let's vibe it, let's see it, let's dart around with the energy. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is fascinating. In the seven, six, the seven is going to be much more careful and not show you their cards, and be more like, I'm going to let you do the talking or the displaying, and I'm just going to observe. And the sixes, is this really, excuse me, the six is this really the right fit? I will be considerate of a person who is kind and generous to me, but is this really the right fit? So the seven and the sixes are much more careful of this vibration. Um, you said, here, I'm going to post it up on screen. Yes, I've never felt a conversation like this before. And yeah, his words are, the least person you would expect to be the one could be it. But right now, our situation, we're not able to talk like we used to. Okay. So if your attitude five, you are in a cycle. Okay. So there is a theme of Definitely, he's going through a lot of change, and you're going through a lot of he's going through more external change, and you're going more through internal change. And I do think that you guys I'd have to look at more of your charts because I only have a section of your numbers, but you two are operating from some different drivers. So, opposite drivers create chemistry and intrigue and interest, but they don't necessarily support us long term because the way that you want to be loved and to feel safe and supported are very different with how he feels love and safety and supported. So, there are interesting things because of that. Again, I would have to look at things overall, but I am concerned to see some of the numbers because I do feel like he would be more communicative at a certain point of if something did or did not work. Okay. And so this is with his numbers, he's very certain of what he does not and does want. It's just he's not certain how to communicate that with other people because he's very careful and calculated of how he comes across. And he actually does want to be supportive and uplifting, but he's a very hard yes or hard no if things work for him. And I feel like you're a very in the moment, spontaneous, yes, this is going to work. And that's how I know it from my gut feeling. So I feel like he's going through a lot of changes and he's not being so clear of, I'm going through changes. This is not working for me right now. And so it's about acknowledging a connection and the intensity of the connection, but also acknowledging that you're in different energy streams. And so to honor the acknowledgement of now I know something that I want in my life and it's going to be special like this, going to be meaningful like this, impactful like this. So now I have the knowledge and the soul help to unlock that for me, as well as giving space to allowing that to transpire. Okay. So, within him, I think his job going forward is to be more articulate and responsible for the things that he knows, and for you to um, be more trusting of what you allow when you know that the energy changes. Because I feel like you've allowed your time and your thoughts to be really strongly for a person when you know that the timeline has changed, when you know that situationally things have shifted. Okay. And to be more understanding about what shifts and patterns are with people and what dynamic that you want to create and what type of self honoring that you want to do during that time. Okay. So this is I'm gonna say it. This is a time where both of you need to do some inner work on different levels. And if things boomerang back, they boomerang back. But there was an acknowledgement of a heightened energy, and right now the energy is really going in different ways. So um, the more we maintain our energy and the more that we know ourselves, the more that we can continue to attract this quality level of energetic relationship and soul connection. So you have the power. It's not because of this special connection only. You have the power. You have unlocked your power. Continue to transmit this level of connection with how you attract relationships. Okay. Um, she mentions, we've known each other for 9 years and we just finally connected on a deeper level this past summer and fall. Yes, so that's cool because I didn't know about the 9 years part. I didn't. But you're putting that down. And I just feel like something did blossom, so that made sense. But it's just like, um, can you understand that like physically you're not even in like the same place? So it's like the frequency is definitely off and that is messing things up too as well, even though there's respect for one another. So it's a lot of different things just not lining up within this timeline. Again, things can boomerang back if they're meant to be. But I just want you to take some pressure off yourself and to attract um, who else is out there. Okay. You've been shown what a quality relationship and true meaningful connection is. So I would say thank you for this understanding as you go forward. Uh absolutely, Aspen. Absolutely. I know it's difficult. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. Um Sharon, I'm going to give you love within that, Aspen. I really am. I'm going to move forward with Sharon. And Sharon, I want to know if I'll move. I want to know if I'll move to your new apartment. Okay, got the question. Let me scroll up. Make sure you put down your numbers, Sharon, because we're doing numerology readings today. So if you have a question, I need your chart to access for that. And then, so we're going to go to Jesse. Jesse, hello. All right, you're giving me your numbers 11, 11, 1994. Okay, excellent. I'm just making sure if you had a question. Okay, I think you want a general read, Jesse. Got it. All right, so you have an attitude 4, a personal day 2, and of course it's a 211. And then you have a life path of 9. And you are in a cycle of 2. Okay, awesome. Just double checking the math. Yep. Okay. So Jesse, what showcases to me off the bat, your Sharon, you just have to pop down your birth date like everyone is. Like, if you can see like Caprice, just pop down her birthday. It's how I get into your numerology for the numerology hour. Yes. For Jesse, okay. An attitude 4 always indicates the preference of being a planner, and that's how things go well for you. You like to think a step ahead, you like to be prepared. And within your life path, there's a theme of you're prepared and you're always in a situation where you can help another person when they're like, oh my gosh, like, life is going 10,000 miles per hour. You're just like, okay, there's a solution. We got this. We got this. So it's a way that you come prepared, even with the unexpected. There's always a way where you can problem solve. And that is a part of you that comes out in life. And to make sure that you understand as well that you're very capable. And I want that to breed confidence for you with how capable you are within highlighting it. This year is a cycle 2 for you. And so that means that it has been a more emotional time. If you can understand Jesse, and some people pop in and out. So Jesse, if you're still here, let me know. If not, you can watch the playback later. But cycle 2 is all about like processing emotions that go very deep for us. And because of that, we feel anger or sadness, or we just feel like kind of emotional at times where we feel way more overwhelmed than normal. Okay. And because of that, it allows us to process things we don't normally process. So the need for additional help is very, very warranted. And going into next year, so that's 2024, you're going to be in a cycle of 3, and it helps you to feel like refreshed on the other side and ready to be like more social and have more opportunities because you feel like, okay, I was able to figure out some things that made sense for me this year where now I'm ready to act. Now I'm ready to act. And I feel more closer and connected to myself again rather than just going through the goals of life based on what I think is important because of what it's been told to me, if you can understand that. Yes, okay, you understand. You're like, Like, I'm good at problem solving for others, but not so me. That makes sense. Well, if you're good at problem solving for others, that means you have the capability to do for yourself too. I want to give you back that confidence. I really want to give you back that confidence. And yes, emotional year. And yes, you've been in hermit mode. So you're ready. Thank you. And so it does allow you next year to open things up in a way where you go, okay, it's time to live life again. It's time to live life again. Let me look at your January. So you're going to be in a 3. Okay, so in January, that's good. I feel like you're really antsy. Okay, so what is it right now? So you're 3, you're a 3, and you're in a 2. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, oh yeah, no, no, no. I feel like if you can understand that, like you're really antsy. I know you said you're ready, but I feel like you're really antsy. Like you're like, yes, we got to do this. We got to do this. Like, um, I am so ready to get out there. I feel like that. I feel like November, December, if you can understand that, November and December have really made you feel like this, like you've been looking at things, you've been planning. If you can understand that, you're like, let's go. And that continues for next year. So it's like fresh out the gate. You're going to be looking into like even like job changes, if you can understand this too as well. Job changes and making sure that things are in place on that physical level because yeah, it's just like you got over some of the hurdles, okay? So that comes into effect. You have a personal day too, so let me just highlight this. Your personal day two makes people very like trusting around you because there's a softness of your energy that people feel in your presence. Okay. Yes, you get things done systematically so you can have an edge to you. I understand this. But on first impression, people actually feel the softness around you. And because of that, they can sometimes try to take advantage of you and you have to set them straight. And sometimes you don't always set them straight if you can understand that. So it's about getting out and putting boundaries down as you get out and saying, like, these are the goals, this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to make sure that I surround myself with quality people. And that's like some of the biggest things that are coming through. It's like quality people in the workplace, quality people within friendships. There has been a lot of energy of as long as they're nice or I vibe with them on a certain level, like I can accept them into my group or I feel accepted around them. And it's just like we need additional quality of people where when there's red flags or when we see certain behaviors, we go, noted, this isn't necessarily my person, even though I appreciate their presence and I appreciate what I can do with them momentarily. Or maybe this is my sign for exit. So that is going to come into play much more, and you can shift and you have choice with who you decide to be around. And so don't just do it because it works and it's easy and it fits. Do it because you're like, I'm stepping up additionally and I'm sensing what's of quality. So using quality in your life and saying no is very important for next year. Okay. And you said, yes, I'm ready to move on and I can feel, but I've been in hermit road for a while. So I'm a little anxious. So that's to come, but happy at the same time. I feel like you're raring to go. And it's just like your anxiousness is the only thing that is keeping you back. And it's time to swim. It's time to swim. You're not going to sink. It's time to swim. You try to look at everyone in a balanced way and try not to judge, but I do know what I want around me. Yes. Good. Okay. So enforce that. I just think that there are going to be options next year where and let me know if this makes sense now or if it makes sense going forward. There's going to be options next year where you're like, I can do this. This is a good fit. And it's not a good fit. It's not a good fit. and you see the red flags of why. So really trust that and do more of that than you'd expect. The boundaries are really important for next year. Okay? It's going to keep you less anxious because you said no. It's going to keep you more confident. It's going to keep you less nervous because you've protected yourself. Even if it's over the top, you've protected yourself. Okay. With that said, Jesse, you got this. Go forward and breathe and trust yourself. It's time to swim. Okay. So then I'm going to take one more really quick, or we'll do like a couple. We'll do like a couple quick ones. Okay. We'll do a couple quick ones because I see a lot of different numbers. So Trinu, it's Trinu, and you did 616. Okay, cool. So that means that you are an attitude 4, personal day 6, and you are life path 1. Let me just make sure of that. Okay. Yep. Personal day 4. Uh-huh. Oh, you're a life path 8. This is why I don't do things in my head. This is why I have to write it down. Okay. So you're a life path 8. Yes, you're a life path 8. So Trinu, I hope I'm saying your name right. As a life path 8, you have to be in a place where you are climbing in responsibility, climbing in a way where you are enjoying the task of becoming better, faster, stronger, and you are in roles where you can exert your expertise. Okay, you can show people what you know, and you can get paid for it effectively, and people can go, "Ah, yes, this is why we have chosen you for this role." So it's very important to be bold, and it's very important to position yourself where you are given a role of responsibility, where you are not being told what to do, but you are guiding people and learning how they can be better. Okay. That will always make you happiest within your life. As an attitude 4, you're very organized and systematic. And as a personal day 7, a 6, I'm bouncing around all the place. As a personal day, yeah, no. Because I'm reading you're overseas, you're not United States, so I have to read you backwards. So as a personal day 7, because you are an attitude 4, but as a personal day 7, you are somebody who is regarded as knowing their stuff. You are a person who others observe for you to be thoughtful. You are a person where people go, okay, there's something a little extra to Trinu. What is that? So as long as you are forwardly approaching what you want, as long as you are self-activating and you make yourself bold, remember I said be a little bold? As long as you embolden yourself, people go, "Oh, well, yeah, we thought that she, was capable, but now she's here. So, yeah, let's look at this additionally." When you have a personal day 7, people will assume that you're smarter than the average bear, but they won't necessarily do anything about it until you do something about it. So, invite yourself to the arena, make things happen. Things go well. Okay. All right. And then we're going to take just one more, and Crease, just for everyone who's coming in, you have to put down your numbers, and that's how I do, because people are asking for readings, but if I don't see your numbers, then I can't jump into numerology with you, because we're doing the numerology readings only today, because it's the numerology hour. Okay. With Caprice, gosh, everyone's an attitude 4 in this room. We have another attitude 4. And we have another personal day 7. And so this is the reminder, Caprice, of making sure you are emboldening yourself. And if you want something, to go and get it and to start the conversation. Within your attitude of 4, the final thing I'm going to say is, again, this was a year where you had to really come into your spirituality, as well as your understanding of self on a very like personal level. It wasn't just about like um spirit, it was about how you connect to spirit. And because of this, like you figured out how everything is connected on a deeper level. So this goes beyond you, as well as deep inside of you. And you understand that even though sometimes things overwhelm you, that you are more infinitely supported and you are more highly capable than you once believed. And so it's about like walking through the fire and having courage and going forward with the next step and allowing the beauty of the world to inspire you, because there's a lot of, you know, terror in the world. It's the world. But there's a lot of beauty within the world. There's gardens, there's flowers, there's oceans, there's sunlight. There is artistry of architecture all over created by man. And there's these glimmers that make you smile sometimes. So it's just like trust in the beauty of the world, because you know how much bigger the meaning of you acting is now. It's not just because it's going to help you or make the people around you happy. There's a deeper meaning to everything that you're doing. So continue to put your attention on the beauty of the world, okay, as you work on yourself. And thank you for understanding that, Caprice. And with that said, everybody, thank you so much for being here on the Numerology Hour. As we continue to tweak the time, let me know what kind of numerology questions you would like to learn about, whether it is what kind of readings we can focus on, or insight into how the numbers are read and translated, whether repeating or with just the archetypes of what makes numerology. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Please, I will see you tomorrow on the reading show, and that's psychic readings. And we do everything on there: cards, sensing, and sometimes we do a little bit of numerology too. So I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. And please, for anyone who is in the local area of Orange County, I have a night of psychic mediumship with Debbie Romero in Tustin on the 16th. So please spread the word and be a part of the magic. You are invited for that, for psychic mediumship readings connecting to the other side and your soul. With that said, please go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me today. Take care. Bye.